Okay, good. You want to start? Or you want me to start?
No, I can start. Um, so, um, Welcome, everybody. My name is Aaron Vanden Heuvel from Oshkosh Area School District in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I am the Technology Infrastructure and Services Manager, and we're here presenting with David Gunlock, who's our Deputy Superintendent, and additionally head of our IT department as IT Director, and Lexi Ballwade, who is our one of our principals at Roosevelt. And we're going to present on kind of going Google, what we've done at our time here when we've gone to Google, and that is connecting up our initial resources to getting everybody online with Google, and then what we've done to improve that and utilize the resources, which heavily involve sites, which we use for our district website, and additionally then staff websites as well. And we'll just kind of talk about what that process was, what some of those pitfalls were, and how we where we stand now and how we got there. So we're going to share out some resources to kind of go through presentation. We had done this presentation at ISTE on San Antonio. I had some good success with that. We're going to share a lot of that with you here today.
Can I run it, or do I just go through the slides?
Yep. Well, so you see the go on Google Slides there, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Try running the keynote and see if it works.
All right, so I'm going to kind of pass this a little bit over to Gunlock here, and not to push that out too far. So, David's going to take a little of our story.
Sure. What I'll do is, why don't you show it on here so I can see what they're seeing. So which one are they seeing? Okay, you should be able to see one of the screens right now where it talks a little bit about our story. Basically, just to give you some background, Oshkosh is the 10th largest school district in Wisconsin. We have about 10,000 kids. Technology was pretty severely under-resourced for a period of about 10 years here. The annual non-staff technology budget had dropped to about $400,000 a year, which is pretty small. Excuse me?
Both mics. You have
The mic off.
Oh, okay. There.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Are you getting any more feedback, or is this working okay? Great. Okay, so we had no tech director from about 2008 to 2010. The system engineer had resigned in summer of 2010. We had 16 of 33 new administrators hired in the summer of 2010. So it was kind of a wild ride initially. We were using an old pre-content management system. Was really quite bad at that point. And the community was very frustrated with the resources we were providing. The focus was really in terms of remote accessible instructional resources. We really wanted to have high availability, 24/7, high available Wi-Fi environment. We treat all devices like they're BYOD. And that includes my laptop, superintendent's laptop. We treat everything as though it's a BYOD device coming in from the outside. So really the objective was to leverage fewer resources to a much higher degree, and we did some decreasing of the internal storage for our end users. We dropped them down to a 1 gigabyte per user. So that was somewhat different for everyone, and wanted to increase collaboration. We did decrease the number of executable apps. We had 300 different apps we supported. We're down to about 20 now. We expanded some of our professional development to help leverage the fewer resources. We improved some web-based information. Really, the ultimate goal here was to increase student access to technology, so the instruction could be far more multidisciplinary and constructivist in nature, and that really required a lot of collaboration. And the Google Apps side really helped with that. probably the biggest thing about this was it really grew organically. It was not something that you know, was as planned as we thought. Are they seniors? Yeah. Okay. So it really was something that kind of grew from the ground up. So we go to the next slide. Sure. Let's go through those. So these were the steps. We had an exchange environment that was failing, and what we really wanted to do was we had a situation where our email archiving system had failed, so we had to do that in a period of about 3 weeks. We didn't really have much in the way of PD resources, so we trained a group of 40 teachers, and at no expense to the district, we offered sessions before, after school, and during lunch, and basically said, if you want to have some help moving to this, we had over 100 sessions across 21 buildings. And but we didn't pay anybody to go to the sessions. We did pay the teachers of the sessions for their prep time to get it ready, but it was pretty low cost, and that went pretty well. Just to give you an idea by the numbers, we saved, these are conservative numbers, about $47,000 a year going to Google, and that's just for email only. That doesn't even include anything else. And it certainly doesn't include the resources we'd have to put into the system to get it to do the other collaborative pieces. The other thing by the numbers is you should be seeing a screen that shows some bar graphs. Are you guys seeing that?
Yes.
Right now?
Yes.
That bar graphs will show you that we have about 5 collaborators per document.
Are you guys seeing that slide?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. We had our speaker off. So right now we have about 5.3 collaborators per document. You can see the quota size, you know, by everywhere from September of 2012 to June of 2013, the effective disk quota on file size had jacked up to about 250,000 files. And when you think about that, having 5 collaborators on average per document is pretty stark. I mean, I was really surprised when we had that. Next slide, you can see just kind of an idea of how many unique clients we had over a 4-week window. We had about 12,000 outside devices come in and join our network. And by type, you know, obviously Apple's a very heavy hitter and Android is a close second. So I guess website design process, I'll turn that over to you guys.
So we did rebuild our entire district website, public facing, through Google Sites. We had put together a web research team of people throughout the district. Lexi, if you'd like to kind of talk about that process.
That's the slide, that's the camera.
So yes, we put together a team with all the different stakeholders, including administrators, our IT department, teachers, parents, paraprofessionals, counselors from all over our district to kind of bring them together to take a look at our current website and to determine what our needs would be for developing the new website. We put a community survey out in our local newspaper. We asked all of our staff, our students, our parents to give us some feedback as well. With that process when we were starting to take a look at what our needs were. We did talk initially then as well about requirements for staff, so we thought about what we would have all of our teachers do and what we would have our building principals required to do with this. So we had all of our staff members develop their own Google site as well as recreating this entire district and school sites with this. We talked about how we would look at and review our site once it was complete. So we started by last spring with our first punch list review of our current sites. So So as we went through that process and we looked at what our needs were and we took a look at what great websites out there have in place, we started to look at different options for us to host a new website with. Brought in lots of different content management systems, many of them like CMS and things like that looked similar to what we currently had, very cookie cutter like, and wanted to have something that gave us some more flexibility and a different edge to our look, which is why we ended up going with Google Sites.
I'll just bring up the actual site.
So we're going to show you a screenshot of our old site versus our, so that was our current site when we looked at the redesign process. And after switching to Google Sites, we can get that up for you. This was our the site that we came up with for our district front page. So it doesn't really look like a Google site, and it certainly doesn't look like a normal district website, I guess, per se, if you're looking at that first one.
And part of the advantage of doing that has been leveraging all the collaborative pieces. It's been really kind of fascinating as we've gone through this. Originally, we started using the Google Site tools a lot, creating file cabinet pages, announcement pages, etc., and that worked really, really well. But what we found that works even better is we're now leveraging it with Google Drive. So people are having the front end be the Google site, and then they're creating the back end Google Drive folder structure with appropriate sharing. So all they have to have is a one-stop shop. So, for example, our board secretary, all of our board meetings are electronic. Our board members all have iPads. They are able to access those resources off of their Google Drive, and we can then, all she really needs to do is keep that folder up to date and the website up to date itself. So it really does pull some steps away. If we go to just to show you the other piece of it, this was our intranet. You should be seeing that. It was really, it was intermingled with our full website, so it really confused the tar out of people. So what we did is we changed that over to more of an app button look, and that seems to be much more effective. So the implementation process.
So this just kind of goes through, and we'll just kind of briefly tell you that obviously we were communicating all of these changes to a very large staff in our district using Blogger and things like that. We developed lots of different training opportunities, and our training manual actually was pretty key in being able to disperse this out to many people, so they're able to kind of follow a step-by-step guide on developing their department website, their teacher website. So those were all very consistent across the board in how that was done and had a common template to use. This is probably pretty important. We worked with a company out of California, SATA Systems, and kind of were some of the first of school districts to start to use Google Sites in this kind of manner to develop our district website. And so we had a couple of bumps along the road that were lessons learned that we can now share with others.
Right, and what we can do is, since we kind of messed up some of our time, we won't go too deep into that, but maybe if we provide an additional conversation later on, we can go deeper into the lessons learned on that. But we don't want to use up past our time, but that was kind of a rough guideline on what we did in our district to get to Google Apps as an environment, and then use Google Sites to leverage our collaboration amongst our staff, and then tie in our community and our students.